What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another reaction with your host, the ignorant eclectic mad genius. Man, today we are checking back in to Omizi's channel. And I guess Chud was finally found guilty. He was found guilty. So all his past actions are finally coming back to haunt him. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, hit that like, hit that subscribe. On our way to 1,000 subscribers, man. Let me stop talking. Let's do this.
A law that does not exist. They're throwing bullshit charges at me to try to discourage me, to try to make me silence myself.
Etherly is now charged with attempted criminal homicide, employing a firearm during a dangerous felony.
1.2 million bond? Oh, bro. Chud ain't got Chud has already said that his family doesn't mess with him. He didn't have any money. His wife or girlfriend or whatever wanted to change the name of their kid because I guess his name was the same name as the kid, and basically he has ran that name through the mud and it's bad now. But $1.2 million bond is all right. You got what you deserve.
Aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon.
It's not illegal to say, look at this guy.
Oh, Big Terry gonna have a good old time. Big Terry and Big Mikey probably gonna have a good old time with him. Yeah. Them Aryan boys ain't gonna keep you safe either. Well, some of them might, but you might be holding their pocket too. Yeah.
Harassing my community behind me. Look at this guy causing an issue in my community. He's chimping out. Call him a hard R and say, get the f away from me.
I'm on set initial bond at 1.25 million.
Oh,
1.25 million.
Yeah, Chud, you're beyond cooked at this point. Did y'all see his face? Did y'all see his eyes closed? That was a guy who wishes that he just would have put the streaming down and went home. That is the face of somebody who is overly defeated. That is the funniest face I've seen in a minute. After a bond hearing in which Chud found out that in order for him to walk out, he would have to put up $1.25 million, I think reality is finally set in. It was a hot day in that courtroom, but not for anybody that was a bystander, but for the dickhead who was running around, antagonizing people, dropping slurs, and trying to get some sort of content out of it. Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
Oh, and I think his GoFundMe, well, somebody put up a GoFundMe for him, and I want to say he gathered, I think it was like over $150,000 or something like that. But I don't know if that even will be allowed. Because I did read something the other day that the judge basically said that he won't be able to use any of that GoFundMe money towards his bond. And then also with that bond, like if he wasn't able to use it for his bond, he also had to have other collateral to be able to do it. But
Judge right here must be the biggest content creator of them all, because the way that he slapped down any sorts of hope that Chud the Builder had for getting out of jail or getting a slap on the wrist or anything like that was truly an entertaining spectacle. This case went from the free speech commentators saying that he would be home Monday to him realizing that he is going to be facing serious time, upwards of 56 years in jail if all of these charges hit. Right now, for Chud the Builder and his supporters, it's raining and it's pouring, and Omar and other commentators are laughing because this is hilarious. If you're new to this and you haven't already,
hit the like, hit the subscribe. But also, dang, bro. I mean, well, he did have I guess a little fairy stage, so it could be that. And I mean, he could be right at home.
please hit that subscribe button. It's gonna go a long way for the channel. Now, back into the video. Chud the Builder had made an entire career and platform off of provoking people in public. But now that somebody was shot, these prosecutors are taking this much more seriously. They are viewing him as a public safety threat, not as some sort of content creator. The 1.25 million, and that's million with an M dollar, which I don't think Chud can afford based off of his facial expression when that got delivered down, is a sign that, yo gang, we've kind of had enough of you. Like we're tired of the nonsense, tired of the shenanigans, and we're gonna put our foot down and show that we don't allow this stuff in this state, this town, this country, this city, wherever. The judge that administered the bond amount is absolutely correct. Not only did Chud endanger the man that he had shot, thank God that he is okay, but he also endangered people around him. This was a public environment, a place in space where you're not even really supposed to have firearms like that, let alone discharge them. Like, this was idiotic beyond belief. It's so amazing because Chud thought he was in the right. He thought he could do this all along. He thought that he was gonna be able to get away with this. Remember, he's facing attempted murder, aggravated assault, reckless endangerment with a weapon, and employing a firearm during a dangerous felony. Those things are going to stick. Apparently, attempted criminal homicide carries a possible sentence of 15 to 60 years in the state of Tennessee. And you can tell that this whole situation is bad just by people who you would expect to be responding positively to Chud the Builder in this situation, turning their back on him, and rightfully so.
Praying that Chud has at least one wingman on his jury and no grow eyebers. Free Chud.
I say send him to jail. I don't think what he did was defensible. Yeah, at a certain point, if you're running around with a gun antagonizing people and then you shoot somebody, like, it's one thing if somebody attacks you for no reason and you shoot them. It's another thing if it's like, here I am with my live stream where I provoke confrontations. I hope I don't have to kill anybody today. Like, I don't know, man. I wish that he could just reform and, you know, they give him a slap on the wrist and he doesn't do anything again. But I mean, that was going to happen no matter what.
But if you thought the $1.25 million bond was high, extreme, and
because basically, if I don't want to say it was the day before, he did all that. He had put something on he put something on social media saying that he wanted to basically catch a body or catch a brother, basically.
probably one of the worst things that Chud could have got. Don't worry, it actually gets worse. And you gotta stick with me because I'm gonna take you through it all. People were questioning why this bond was so high. Now, while there are some people who turn their back that are normal suspects that you would think would be supporting him, it doesn't mean that all of them turn their back. Myron Gaines thought it was gonna be a good idea to bring some sort of legal expert onto the platform to try to question some things about this situation, specifically why the bond was so high.
So he got a $1.25 million bail. I know he has a GoFundMe. I think he has enough to probably post the bail because I think he's got to post 10% or whatever.
I doubt it.
Well, sorry.
No, it's going to be it'll be more than so a normal bail. You're right, it's 10%. But
Yeah.
when the exposure for the bail bondsman is this high, they want 10% as their fee.
Yeah.
And then they want collateral for the rest.
Gotcha.
So
put up a house or
they
something.
won't take your house, but they'll ask you to put up your house. Right.
Gotcha. Okay, so we
By
went
the way,
over.
this is not an insane. I mean, it's a very high bond. I've seen it before in murder cases, attempted murder cases. I know one of the gripe that's in the community is that they see black suspects commit worse crimes, not attempted murder, but literally murder, literally assassination.
But literally, this was premeditated. He had posted about it on social media. And then the next day this happens, that's premeditation.
And get like a $200,000 bail. That's one of the legitimate grievances I talked about at the start of our show today. This is a real concern. This should not be happening.
Myron is so funny. He tries to invite some law expert on there to try to validate some of his claims and concerns to give Chud a slim light of day, but the legal guy can't even do it, right? He doesn't even present him an opening in which he could weasel out of this whole situation. He shuts down some of these narratives quick, fast, in a hurry. God, what a loser. We don't have to question why the bond was set so high. The judge told us it's serious. Like, these felony charges are extremely serious. He didn't just endanger the life of the person that he shot, but the other people that were there as well. You can't just do that. You literally cannot just endanger all the people that were in a courtyard of a public place, especially a place in which if you felt like your life was in danger, you could have gotten a lot of help and resources almost instantly. Also, for what it's worth, he was already out on bond for previous situations in which the law had said, hey buddy, you better keep your nose clean. But like a child at a daycare, he couldn't do that. He couldn't grab some tissues and keep his nose clean. He had to continuously poke and prod and stick his nose into things. And now he's gonna be facing some jail time. And for what it's worth, they're gonna rough him up while he's in these holding cells and waiting for trial and stuff like that. He wanted to be that guy. Now they're gonna make an example of him.
Words with venom, words that bind, words used like weapons to cloud my mind. I'm a person, I'm a man, but no matter how I try, people just say, hey, there's that guy.
He's no longer some sort of internet troll or memeable figure, at least not intentionally. He's somebody who is an actual violent criminal, somebody that they are going to put to the test the strength and resilience of the American legal system. One that I'm not normally on the side of, but boy, oh boy, are they about to make an example out of this dude. That smile and that internet memeability is smooth wiped off of Chud's face when he realizes things aren't going his way. And again, I said intentional memeability because unintentionally, he gave us arguably the funniest, and I do mean funniest clips and images from this whole bond hearing when he realizes, oh my God, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. When them eyes close, once he hears that 1.25 million, which we know he can't put up. Like, he doesn't have the money to put up the 10%. He doesn't have the house that's worth it all. This is hilarious. But if Chud thought he was screwed, like I said, it only gets worse. Because of the severity and the magnitude of this situation, the support, while coming from these online donators, may be quote unquote real, every other aspect of his life, he's not getting that same support. It's been reported that the public defender's office has declined to take on this case. That's right, the defense that you're offered as a citizen of these United States, yeah, they've declined because of the clips, because of the outrage, because of the backlash that he's caused over his lifetime. Chud took privileges for granted. He didn't realize that freedom and access to legal representation and the ability to go into restaurants and stuff like that were not just guaranteed to you because you're an American and you have free speech and you can say what you want and blah, 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 blah. No, these things are privileges. And he's gonna find out really, really soon. The fact that he now has to put any sorts of funds that he is accumulating towards his legal expenses are insane. And I know that's not what he expected to do. I know he probably expected to put any sorts of donations that he was getting towards his bond in order to step out of jail and wait for trial and stuff like that. But he definitely got a rude awakening in regards to that, but we'll get to that in 2 seconds. But speaking of donations, the funny thing about this whole thing is that the legal system is treating this as some sort of real life situation, but his online supporters are treating this as some sort of donation goal. Those same audience members who were sending him donations in the stream are now the ones sending it to Give, Send, Go, or whatever other donation site that he had. But the problem is Chud and his supporters are about to be in for the rudest awakening when it comes to how their dollars and cents will be spent. As it's been reported, the district attorney's office will move to block Chud's fundraisers from being used for bond. Even if Chud can use the money and finds a bondsman to put up 10% of the 1.25 million, it's my understanding he still needs collateral for the rest. Now, at the time of recording this, he has about $211,000 that'll be nothing better than money for soup cans, ramen noodles, honey bun packets when he inevitably gets sent to prison, because they are not going to allow this man to use this for bond. I guess it could be used for a lawyer when ultimately his public defender says that he won't be joining Chud along this journey. But then again, you'll also have to find another lawyer who will take on the case. And I'm pretty sure he will. Lawyers love money. But it's nasty and sad as I scroll through the comment section of his donation page. There are people that are really, really thinking that they are making some sort of stance. I think the irony in all of this, though, is they're treating it as if it's some sort of content. The videos that we are getting are clips from the live stream. They'll probably live stream the trial and the court case as well. And then the donations in the Give, Send, Go are, you know, donations that people send to streamers. This is TTS right here. The difference is that normally while on the street, Chud would be having fun, you know, because this was supposed to be a consequence-free environment. But the reality is that his life hangs in the balance. In this situation, and all these people sending all this money and stuff like that to him are not really having an impact on his life. It's almost meaningless. I know he would trade any and all of that for freedom at this point, but hey man, if you wanted to be the birthday, Tennessee is gonna make you the birthday. These people are sickos and weirdos though, because this is not just, hey, everyone deserves defense or everyone should have a fair shake or whatever. As I keep scrolling, these are people that are approving this person's message. And they're not approving the message of free speech or him getting railroad. They're approving the racism that he was doing in his content, full stop. The worst part about it is that these supporters are giving proof of concept that if you do go down this route, if you do this type of content, you will have a group and an army of people who are willing to back you financially. This would make sense as to why, even with Chud the Builder just recently getting put out the paint, there are already imitators and copycats popping up left, right, and sideways.
It's chimping out, dude. Holy shit. Holy shit. It's wild out here, man. It's wild, bro.
Hey, you see him chimping out?
Yo.
No, bro. Hey, Jerome's chimping out, baby.
Yo, shout out Chud the Builder, bro. Chud the Builder. Chud the Builder, dude. Shout out Chud, bro. Shout out Chud.
Hey, what up, Chud?
Yo, that's what's up, bro. Dude, yeah, bro, they were chimping out. I saw that shit, dude. What the fuck was going on, man?
We'll find Chud, baby.
Dude, you got your fucking dogs and everything. They're like fucking freaking out on you, trying to fight you, bro. What the fuck is that, dude?
Chimping out, baby.
Yo, what's up? Beautiful dogs, by the way, dude. I know it won't bite, dude, because you're a white guy, dude. He's not gonna bite me, bro. Fucking beautiful, man. You have a great day, man.
Now, I'm not gonna get into it too much onto this video. I still got some grave to gritty on for Chud, but it's actually disgusting that people think that this is a viable way of making content. It's actually nasty that the ordinary citizens of Nashville feel like this is the way to talk. I think they're in for a rude awakening, though, not realizing that a case was built around Chud the Builder for Chud the Builder, and he will be the blueprint for, you know, this level of antagonizing people and the charges that are to be faced after the fact. But long story less long, the imitators are here. The copycats have saw that this is a viable way. They see that there is a certain brand and platform that is stamped in the upper right or lower left corner of every single clip that is willing to push them out to the masses. And they think that this is a viable way to make a career. It's not, though. And all in all, I think that this is why the DA for Tennessee is making an example out of Chud. Like I've already stated, they have been looking at Chud underneath the microscope. He didn't get a regular questionnaire when he was arrested the first time, or well, the second time, for stealing the food at the restaurant. He got questioned by the FBI. They had been building a background on this man. They had been tailing him. They understand what the content is. They understand who he is, what he stands for, the audience, etc., etc. And they want to squash any and everybody from believing that this is something that should continue on in the future. They're gonna make sure that Chud can't turn internet support into legal freedom. And if they do succeed in their methods, then that should send a message to people saying like, yo, you can't provoke people for views, then get charged in a shooting, and then feel like, hey, the way for me to get back to my freedom is by crowdfunding resources in order for me to be released. Like, no, that's not how this works. But I'm gonna be honest with you, even if Chud the Builder was able to use these funds, it really wouldn't matter. And this is the part where Chud the Builder is most screwed in this situation. We all know that Chud the Builder is a pathological liar who is looking to lean on the self-defense argument in order to have his release. But the legal breakdown as to what happened is going to reveal the most damning piece of evidence that states why he won't be able to get up out of jail. Now, we all know Chud the Builder's story was shaky from the jump. He claimed that these people pursued him, but knowing what we know about him, that didn't make a lot of sense. It was also interesting that we could never really get the clips from the live stream or any moment before the situation happened. The only clips that we ever got was him talking to the police. Knowing Chud the Builder records everything, there had to be some evidence that existed prior to. Well, it seems as though police have found it, and what they are claiming is that Chud the Builder wasn't doing anything in self-defense. In fact, Chud the Builder pulled the gun before the altercation. The arrest warrant specifically states Ether Lee stood in a bladed stance and reached for his firearm. Thereafter, a physical altercation ensued. Translation, Joshua Fox saw Chud pull his weapon and acted in self-defense. Now, how stupid could you be? Like, this is where Chud is arguably the stupidest person that I know. His whole claim of I was attacked, so I protected myself, as if nobody else was gonna see this in a courtyard or a courthouse that has multiple camera angles, multiple eyewitness accounts, multiple people that saw it. I mean, you were streaming, you were all these things. The fact that he thought that he could get away with this and not think that people would, I don't know, realize that there was some sort of footage or image or testimony before the account is the stupidest shit in the whole world. Chud's whole defense hinges on the fact that he claims that he was being pursued first. But now that we know that that's looking like it's not the case, then what are we even doing here? We're about to have a serious conversation about him attempting to murder somebody. That's it. Yeah. That's it, period, point blank.
So the prosecutor's looking at these 5 elements to see which one looks vulnerable to being disproven beyond a reasonable doubt. If you were the initial aggressor or the provoker, you lose innocence, you lose self-defense. Prosecutor knows that. The next is imminence. You have to be defending yourself against a threat that's either actually occurring in the moment or immediately about to occur. The fist is pulled back, the guy's reaching for a weapon. It can't be something that happened in the past. It can't be something that might happen in the future. Proportionality, and this could be a problem for Chud, is you can only use deadly defensive force if you're facing a deadly force threat. If you're only facing a non-deadly force threat, you can't use a gun to defend yourself against a non-deadly force threat. And usually a punch is going to be considered a non-deadly force threat. So that could be an issue here. Avoidance is the 4th element. That has to do with whether or not you have a legal duty to retreat before you can defend yourself. Tennessee, like most states, is a stand your ground state. So in otherwise lawful self-defense, you don't have a legal duty to retreat. But what if the self-defense is not otherwise lawful? What if it has some other defect? Then you, even in Tennessee, which was one of the first stand your ground states, you can reacquire a legal duty to retreat. And then finally, reasonableness. And this is a broad target of attack because it just asks generally, would a reasonable and prudent person do what you did? And let's face it, anyone who's a social media provocateur is doing a lot of stuff that's kind of outside the Overton window and does not look reasonable to a normie jury
agree. If Chud provoked this fight, again, we don't know that happened, but if it provoked the fight, that complicates Chud's claim of self-defense. That's a target for attack.
The term self-defense isn't some sort of get out of jail free card. It's not something that you could just throw out there into the ethos and hope that it sticks. There has to be some sort of backing behind it. And this is where Chud the Builder and any of these free speech guys, self-defense guys go absolutely wrong. They take these social media definitions, they take these definitions that they've heard from their favorite content creators, or maybe in passing by in lay conversations, and think that it is applicable to law. But the problem is that once you get in that courthouse with that judge that has that gavel, that jury box that's full of 12, a bailiff, and some attorneys, they don't care about what the Tate brothers have told you what free speech is over the past couple of years, or what Sneeko or Myron have told you what free speech and self-defense are over the past couple of years. They care about what that book says. And if you go against that book, it seems as though you'll be going to jail. And it really, and I do mean really, does not help that his whole branding and identity is surrounded by antagonizing, provoking, claiming that he was potentially going to do these things, saying that the series finale was going to be a dead chimp on the pavement, you know, brandishing other weapons and pulling those things first, because they are going to pull up video evidence of him at other different altercations in which he pulled mace first on people that did not have any other sorts of weapons to be used against him. None of this stuff helps at all. If your whole identity is this antagonizer, it becomes hard to convince 12 people that, hey, I was the victim. I was the one who was provoked in this situation. I was the one who was tasked with getting up out of my skin, as they roll behind you a highlight reel of you doing this for the past 3-4 weeks or so. Like, whew, this brother is cooked. So right now, it's not looking good for Chud. Right now, the bond is high. The defense for him wants to step away from him. The prosecutors are coming down hard on him. His ability to use any sort of fan-funded money that he is getting from his supporters is looking like it's being challenged. There are major, and I do mean major, holes in his defense case. Now the real takeaway is simple. Chud the Builder has built this audience by treating public racism like entertainment. But now the consequences are real, and his supporters are trying to protect his character. But the courtroom is not judging his character, they're judging the defendant. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Tennessee is extremely, and I do mean extremely, close to me. I'm thinking about taking a ride up there for those court days so we can be live and in person and get the on the ground.
All right, y'all. His original video will be in a link in the description below. Yo, hey, it's well deserved, bro. Like, and the people who are copycatting, I hope y'all get the exact same thing. Just don't be, you know what I mean? Like the whole shooting thing, that's not cool. Nothing like that. Yeah, y'all trying to take people's lives. I hope y'all get taken out first. That's neither here nor there though. But love each and every last one of y'all, man. I will catch y'all on the next one. Shout out to Old Meezy. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. On the road to 1,000 subs, man. I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace.